episode 2 of Ready to Love. I took notes but first, I usually watch my videos back. And if I made a mistake, listen, I'm gonna come right on here and correct my mistake. So in the last video, I said that Samson was sucking toes. I was completely wrong. It was not Samson. I blame it on the fact that I hadn't matched everybody's names with faces just yet, but it was Devin. And that makes way more sense now. It was Devin who was sucking Charisse's toes. So that kind of gives me more of an explanation as to her way of receiving him when he was talking to her and another lady about his child. It just all makes sense now. So anyway, yeah, so Devin was sucking Charisse's toes. So we'll see how the hell that plays out. This episode, they started out at a brunch at Bar One, and one of the things that kind of made me just be like, oh, was Dominica going around asking everybody why she was in the bottom. I know everybody's gonna remember the whole topic of Tasia asking those questions on the first season of Ready to Love DC. I get wanting to know, but having the conversation of I'm not feeling you, or the reason why I said that you should go home, that's a difficult conversation to have, and it's got to be awkward. And so I can understand the guys not wanting to just like come out with an answer, like y'all are just meeting each other and you don't know each other. So I mean, I do also understand Dominica's ask of, why was I in the bottom? Because, in real life we don't get feedback. And sometimes that feedback could probably help us with future relationships, but everybody's not open to give that kind of feedback. But I be wanting to know too, like, let me know so I may have done something or said something that came across the wrong way and I'm not even aware of it. So who knows? But usually the people that go home early probably didn't want to be there for the drama that probably ensued once they left. So Dominica, Charisse, and Mike are talking, and Dominica asked Mike the question as well. I think she asked Randall, LJ, Mike, but she asked Mike in front of Charisse. And so Charisse took it upon herself to tell Dominica that she needs to turn the volume down a little bit. And Mike was like, oh my God, why did she say that? But he was like, they both have very strong personalities, and that's cool and all, but honestly, I gotta give it to Dominica because she handled it with grace. She didn't pop off like people would think that she would because of how they were trying to start to portray her as being loud and this, that, and the other. I feel like she handled that good because my face would have just been like, I wasn't even talking to you. But that's just me. But I mean, again, feedback is life. So, but it's just a time and a place. And you could have came to me and talked to me about that versus saying it in front of a dude that we're both trying to get to know. Like, I just felt like that was inappropriate, but I digress. So then there's this other scene where Randall is sitting at the table and Kayla's sitting beside him. There's a couple of other ladies around. And Charisse walks up and says, oh, y'all treating him like a king. People fixing him plates, da-da-da-da-da. And so they go to, like, Kayla's cutaway scene and everything. And Kayla is like, when other women come around, she walks away. Now, I disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree with that is you should not let somebody else dictate what you're doing. If you are already sitting there talking to him, continue to have your conversation. She could jump in, like you said, participate in the conversation that y'all were having, but you're not about to just come over here and then make me leave, unless I just can't stand you. But no, girl, sit there and keep talking. Dudes want to see how you act around other women as well, so don't just leave. Justice. Okay, every season is always one, okay? Justice is selling unicorn dreams and rainbows, okay? I'm not buying any of it. Justice think he's like that. Justice ain't bad looking, but he needs to tone it down a little bit, talking about all these cosmic, I want to give you utopia type of answers, like, and then he says he doesn't date people unless he's really interested. So it does make one wonder, how do you get to know the people that you end up dating? what do you think I'm gonna be over here doing while you're not dating me? I'm gonna be dating other people. So I don't I don't understand that, but then again I do understand it because Justice is a dream seller, guys. We'll see how that plays out. So a couple of couples that I noticed, Randall and Tamika look like they have a little bit of chemistry going on. Kadian and Swayze, that could be interesting. I got to see it play out a little bit more, but he seems to really like her. And then you got Devin and Charisse. I mean, one of the things that makes this show very interesting to watch is that, as I was saying earlier, in the real world, we don't get a chance to really hear the feedback from guys that we're dating. So this show kind of gives you, somebody said it before, a microcosm of what's out in the real world. You got dudes with different personalities and you got all these women with different personalities, and the guys get together and talk about what they think, as well as the women. And so for both sides, this is interesting because the feedback is what they all should pay attention to, because it's different if one person be like, oh, he's an asshole, oh, she's mean, or whatever. But if you have a group of people that agree, then that's probably something that you need to look into and work on, I would think, because unless they all got together and conspired together to say the same thing about you, it's an interesting experiment. I do wonder who does the matches though over at OWN, like who decides the group of people that are going to be involved, because the casting calls that they've done sometimes ask for actors. So that's why we're all like, is it real? Is it fake? What they leave out? What else was said? And I think it's just interesting to see what men think about certain things that we all see every day, and vice versa. What do women think about the men that we all see and know? Like, for instance, Justice. Like, does anybody else get Playboy vibes from him? I do. But then there probably is a group of other women who don't get player vibes. So I think it's interesting. Devin was sweating his ass off. And I feel you, Devin. I feel you, because I'm a sweater as well. Don't take much for me to sweat. But that being said, I'm going to give you a little tip, Devin. You can't wear every color fabric. The fabrics that will show the sweat the most, you need to stay away from those. You're a heavy sweater. So if you know that you're going to be outside and it's going to be hot, I mean, you live in Miami, you should already know what clothes to wear and what clothes not to wear. You know what I mean? Like, you don't wear satin, you don't wear linen, you don't wear any grays or that fucking green that you had on. No, yes, we could all see the sweat. So coming from a fellow heavy sweater, you need to pay attention to the color of the clothes that you're wearing while you work that issue out. Okay? Homeboy was drenched. So another moment that stood out to me is the moment when the ladies were outside and they were all talking, and Charisse was talking about how she's not gonna bow down to a guy, she doesn't need to cater to them because she's 42, yada yada yada. And a lot of the girls' faces seem to disagree with her, and Kayla and Shakira definitely disagreed. How old is Kayla again? Dang, I don't have that book, do I? Where are the ages? So Kayla is 30 and Shakira is 37. So I can see why they would have differing opinions of how to deal with men. As a woman who is 45, I would not go around saying that I'm not going to cater to a dude and that I don't have to do this because of my age, because age matters to a certain extent. When you get older, you have a different set of rules that you go by. That varies from person to person. But if you get into a relationship, wouldn't you want to make your partner happy, and your partner should want to make you happy? So the attitude that Charisse is displaying, I think that whoever said that she looked like she don't need help, I think it was Shakira. Was it Shakira? I think it was Shakira. I mean, not that all men want a damsel in distress, but you don't need to lead with the fact that you're not going to bow down. Like, can you get to know the dude first? Maybe he don't want you to bow down. So, I don't know. I just think that sometimes you should say less. Because her comment about why should I treat a man like a prize when I pay my own bills? Everybody's supposed to pay their own bills. He pays his own bills. I mean, why should he treat you like a prize? Like, you see how that doesn't make sense? No. So that conversation where Charisse was trying to explain her meaning behind King or why she said it like that, she tried to say that she was just playing, but I want to see the whole conversation because it's being made such a big deal. I think that there was something else said somewhere else. The way that we saw it on the TV, it came off like you were that you were saying it in a joking way. But most jokes that are funny because they're based in truth. And so the fact that she's trying to explain what she meant now and how she was playing makes me feel like she didn't mean it in a joking way, because there's no way I would spend time explaining something that I meant as a joke. I would not even engage. So if you did mean it like that, just own it. Because explaining it now is not... Nobody believes you. The rest of the cast don't believe her. So Dominica goes home, and I like what she said at the end. She said, "I'm that song you skip that end up becoming a hit." I like that. If she wouldn't have said it on TV, I would swipe that. But I like that. So we got a female that went home, Dominica, and so now there's a man that's about to go home. But I want to go back to the picture from when they were at Bar 1. And somebody from Miami can explain this to me because, beach towns are a little bit different than cities. So, I want to know who wears slides to Bar 1. I don't know. Maybe because, like I said, I'm not from Miami. But that was weird to me. Samson, what are you doing? So speaking of Samson and Shakira go out on a date. He got her an aloe plant, a cute little heart-shaped vase. And they had a good conversation. She obviously likes him and she's smitten by him, I'll say. They have like an 11-year age difference. But that could work with the male being the older and the female being younger. The dynamic could work. But a lot of people are pointing out the fact that Samson is a life coach, and so wouldn't he know exactly what to say to a woman? That's the point, but only time will tell. So we'll see who else he has a connection with. Also, Brandy and Mike are looking like they got some chemistry too. And so it just so happens that Mike and Devin were in the bottom. Devin ass had to go, and Mike stayed. I like Mike. I'm glad Mike stayed. I hope Mike does a better job at getting to know the other women as well, because we know how that goes. You can't pick nobody off the top and just see them. You have to spread the love around. Looney got COVID, so she wasn't on the show this week. I wonder when the last time they were all together was, because for us on the show, it looks like y'all was just all together last week. So I wonder if anybody was like, oh shit, we all gotta get tested, because they were around each other, or maybe it was just enough time that had passed since she last was filmed that it wasn't a worry of that or whatever. But I'm glad she's doing good, and so we should see her back next week. That's all I got for this week. Next week, the men are gonna have to take out a woman that is opposite of what they would normally date. So that should be interesting as well. I'm actually working on that in my own life. Instead of picking guys that I think are my type, I'm gonna go ahead and give some people a chance that are not exactly my type and see what happens. So y'all stay tuned for that. I may share some of the details. I may fucking not, because who knows. But I always do like my favorite women, my favorite men. So right now I'm gonna say who I'm rooting for the women is I like Shakira. I kind of like Kayla Messy ass too. I like Mike. Mike should stick around for a while. I kind of like Samson too, but I just have to figure out if he is running game or if this is really him. But so far I like Samson, even though he can be a little superficial. He does, he's on my good list right now. Justice would be on my list if he wasn't so cocky and arrogant. I mean, he's not bad looking, but his whole attitude just, I'm good. No, thank you. But this is not about who I don't like. This is about the ones that I do like. And I like Randall. Randall's cool. So, we'll see what happens in the next episode. As usual, like, share, subscribe. I'm on the road to 1K. Help me get there one day. Make sure you leave me a comment below so I know that you was here. I'm Damita Jo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Fine, whatever.